I wouldn't be angry at bread.
No, you can't be angry at bread.
You can if you're allergic to gluten. What's up, witches? It's Claudia here, and I have some exciting news. Finally, we have created a Patreon. So you can find us at patreon.com/truecrimecovenpod. At the moment, there is only one tier. It's the familiar tier, and it's just where you can chuck us £1 just to help keep us going every month. We aim to expand on this and create new tiers and exciting content. But for now, if you'd like to support us in this way, please do go ahead. That's patreon.com/truecrimecovenpod. Enjoy the episode, guys.
What's up, witches?
Hi, I'm Claudia.
And I'm Jess.
And welcome to True Crime Coven.
Hey, Claudia.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Oh, hey there, girl.
Oh, hey there.
I'm good. Yes.
Sorry, I just stopped. I was just watching downstairs. I'm halfway through the new film Do Revenge.
Oh.
And it's one of those films that's like self-aware that it's cringy. Which is like sort of the worst type of film, but also like a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, oh, hey, girl.
And I just did that because I'm...
What's up, bitch?
I'm white and basic.
Exactly.
Yes. So.
Oh, hey, what's up, bitch?
Oh, hey, bitches.
Yeah, go, girlfriend. I hate us so much.
We're so white. I love it.
How are you?
I'm good. Literally just sat waiting to pop.
Yeah. Again, once again,
hopefully 1 week.
One more week to go. I know I saw my friend in Asda the other day because I'm made of money, and she's got 16 days to go, and she's bless her heart, massive.
So I don't think I'm that big for someone who's literally, so my due date's a Sunday and today is a Thursday.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. I've missed a day. This is
what no work will do to you, Jess.
I know, literally.
Welcome to my world where days mean nothing anyway. I
realised at about 2:00 today that I got paid today, and I was like, "Oh, this is exciting."
Did you get your back pay?
I did. That was very excited.
Was it worth sweet FA like mine was?
Yeah. Normally I don't have. Normally I don't have to pay 500. Normally I don't have to pay my student loan back because I earn just under the threshold. But because of the back pay and because I worked a Sunday shift this month, I've actually paid £40 back of my student loan. And my life goal was to not pay a single penny of it back. So obviously this could be probably will be my last ghost stories, because I probably... Even if I haven't given birth by 41 weeks, probably not going to want to write ghost stories and say them. So I'm thinking next ghost stories, I will have pushed this baby out. How do you feel about doing another drunk ghost stories? When would this be? Well, we'll see how I feel. Yeah. But we literally did one.
Christmas.
Yeah. We literally did one and then never again. And I think it was a funny episode. So if you specifically want me and Claudia telling your ghost story, but you think it would be better if we've both had a glass of wine, then send it in.
So yeah, this might be the last time you hear Jess's voice for a little while.
Yeah.
It also might be the last week that she has where she can sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. To be fair, I might not even...
Congratulations.
Yeah. I might not even need a drink. I'll just be like hallucinating off lack of sleep. So
exactly.
It'll be fine. That said, should we crack on with our first story?
Yeah, let's do it.
You excited for more ghost stories?
I'm always excited. You know this.
So this one was sent in to us by someone, and they've been asked to be kept anonymous.
Okay.
So it's not their story, it's their granddad's story. But I thought easier just to keep everyone anonymous just in case. 18 months ago, my grandma, my granddad's wife, sadly passed away. As much as we're all grieving her loss, I feel very emotional that my granddad has to live in a house that she passed away in all by himself with these memories. After a few months, when it wasn't so raw, I asked him how he was coping in the house by himself. and if there was anything I could do to make life easier for him. He chuckled slightly at this question and said, "I can't get your grandmother to leave me alone." Confused, I asked him what he meant by this, and he proceeded to tell me that he always sees her standing at the bottom of the stairs and occasionally walking around the house. Concerned my granddad was hallucinating, I asked further questions, and he continued to say that he can always feel her presence and hear things moving around the house and strange unexplainable noises. He admitted that they could be the next door neighbour, but stated that they felt too close to home to be next door, and he'd not noticed them until my grandmother's passing. He's normally a very rational man, and I wouldn't have pegged him as a believer in the supernatural, but I guess you never know until you have an experience yourself.
That's such an interesting story as well, because it kind of sounds like to him it's not like, oh, I'm seeing something and it could be your nan. It sounds like from what he said it was really like matter of fact.
And he knew it was her. Like, there's noises in the house. It can't be next door. It must be my wife.
Yeah. It's really sweet, though, as well. Like, I kind of like the idea that maybe she's, like, waiting for him to go join her. So she's like, well, I'm like, they were together in life. Like, a lot of elderly couples have been together for forever. So it's almost like, well, we're together in life, so I'll stay with you until we can go together to the afterlife.
Yeah, I think it's a really sweet story.
And even if it was worst case scenario, like he was seeing something as a comfort, like there's no harm in that.
Yeah.
If he feels comforted and he's not unwell, then good.
Who's it hurting?
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like he was scared. It doesn't sound like it was a malevolent spirit.
No.
Like he chuckled when he said it to her. She was
And I feel like when you say like, oh, I can't get rid of it, you can kind of like gauge the kind of person someone is.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Like it's quite a warm way to like sort of say that someone's like a nuisance, but like you don't really mean it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I like that. It seems very concrete.
Yeah, almost like heartwarming.
Yeah.
Well, on that point. Should we move on to the next story?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So this story is actually sent in by your friend Jazz.
Oh, hi, Jazz.
And she's actually sent in 3, so I'm going to do them consecutively because they do kind of lead on from each other. So they're going to be our next and final 3 ghost stories, but we'll stop in between each one to discuss.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. So I don't know if you actually know any of these stories.
So Jazz is my best friend and my best friend, and so she has told me 1 or 2 spooky things, but I don't know if these are the same or if like if I know them in as much detail or if I remember them.
Okay, so it could be new for you as well.
But she did ask me if she could send these in voice note form because she couldn't quite like get her head around writing them down. And so then she sent them to me and I, without listening, sent them forward to you. So I'm excited to see what she said and sort of, I'm excited.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I don't mind voice notes because it's a lot easier for people to tell them, but it's just a bit harder to put into words because obviously there's normally a lot of like and ahhing and remembering things. So
and colloquialisms and
so Jazz, I'm sorry it's not exactly your words, but I've had to make it readable.
Fair enough.
Okay. Are you ready? I used to work in a castle that was built in the 11th century by Henry VII when he was king. At the start of a shift, 2 or 3 employees would normally go in through the main doors of the castle and begin setting up before the rush of customers who came later in the day. This time of day was known to have strange occurrences, as it was well known that the castle was haunted by the Duke of Wellington and somebody else, but I can't remember who. Anyway, the room, which had been the Duke of Wellington's, had been left exactly how he had died in it. The bed and the furniture hadn't been touched, just freshened up. It was tradition that the people who worked within the house used to knock on his bedroom door before entering and say, "Good morning, Duke," to make him aware of their presence and not upset him. Lots of the employees working on this side of the castle have creepy stories, and lots of them. I personally worked in the catering side of the castle within the tea rooms and gift shop area, which was always very busy and rarely had any paranormal activity. That's what makes this story so unusual. The centre of the castle is a big circle, which is split into 2 semicircles, with a few extra rooms, so you can't go all the way around unless you fancy going through the cellars. In the central part of the castle, we have access to a whole semicircle, which you can go around to access another room, which then leads onto the kitchen. As I said earlier, this area is normally very busy, so we don't tend to get a lot of activity over here, and none of us have ever experienced anything in the kitchen before. This one particular shift was really busy, and I needed to get something from the kitchen, so I went round. As you walk into the kitchen, there is a small archway with shelves on it to the right, and that's where we keep the bread. As I pulled the kitchen door open, all the bread flew onto the shelves. Not far, but in front of my face, and much further than wind or any other explanation would have allowed it. The chef was also in the kitchen at the time. He was standing opposite the shelves, so definitely didn't have anything to do with it, and we both looked at each other like, did that just happen? We apologised to whatever spirit had knocked the bread off the shelves, just in case, and put the bread back up and went about the rest of our day as if nothing had happened. It was very strange that this happened when it was so busy and in the kitchen of all places. This was also my first experience of the supernatural in this castle.
Okay, so first of all, I wanted to say when it was like, when Jazz said like, oh, you had to go through the cellar. Well, yeah, obviously I'm never doing that. I'm not going for a cellar that I don't have to. Secondly, this is the second time we've had a ghost in an old castle that staff routinely knock on the door.
Yeah, I thought that's
from our first episode.
Yeah, when I heard this, I was like, this isn't the only place where someone's had to knock on the door. Yeah,
because I remember in our first Ghost Stories episode, Sarah sent in a story about a room in the attic, I think it was, or the top floor. Yeah, it was
up like a tower maybe or something.
Yeah, and you used to have to knock to tell the spirits you were coming in.
Yeah.
And this is in the same vein. You're letting the spirit know that, hey, like your house is now inhabited, there's people in it. A bit like if you were to go and work in like someone's home, you would like maybe knock on the door and be like, just letting you know I'm here. So they like don't, first of all, not know that people are there, and also like, yeah, like, so they don't, like, come out, like, in the underwear or something to, like, go to the toilet, you know? Like, letting them know that about your arrival. And I just find that really peculiar that maybe this is the thing that happens in castles that are haunted all over.
Yeah, maybe or just buildings that are known to be haunted. Yeah. Maybe it's just a thing that, like, I know when people are like, oh, knock to make yourself aware for the spirits, but actually maybe it's us who need to make ourselves aware to the spirits that we're there. Like, knock, knock, hello, we're coming in. Is that okay?
Yeah, exactly. Because to them, that's their space, and they may not realise that it no longer is. And especially if that spirit is of someone who owned the area that's now haunted.
Yeah, definitely.
It would only be polite. Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't want someone barging into your house.
No, not at all. I'd tell them to fuck right off.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I was going to say is that it's really nice that they apologised to the ghost when the ghost was the one who knocked the stuff off.
Yeah, yeah. So I got that from the tone of her voice, it's quite hard to write down, but it sounded like they were just, you know, when you look at someone, you're like, oh dear. Yeah. What have we done to upset them? Like, did I open the door too quickly? Did I not announce myself? But yeah, I thought that was quite sweet how they were like, oh, we must have done something to upset the ghost for them to do that.
Whereas like in real life, if someone came into your kitchen and knocked things off a shelf, you wouldn't be like, oh, sorry.
You'd be like, what the fuck, dude?
You'd be like, what are you doing, you dickhead?
I like as well, they just like pick the bread back up, put it back on the shelf and go about their day like nothing happens.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely find the knocking element one of the most intriguing, because now I'm wondering about all the other castles in the country and in other countries perhaps where, you know, people be knocking on doors to let ghosts know they're there.
Basic etiquette.
And if you work in a castle.
It was making me think maybe we should go to more castles.
Yeah. I mean, we should be cultural anyway. So
yeah.
I don't even know if there's a castle near here.
Oh, there's quite a few, I think. There's definitely some in Wales.
Oh, well, we'll go to them. We'll take the baby.
I feel like there's one in like Gloucester as well. Gloucester way.
Probably. Makes sense.
And loads in Cornwall way, so.
Well, you know, road trips galore.
Yep, everywhere. Let's go. Let's travel the country. So yeah, are you ready for Jazz's second story?
I am.
I'm back with more castle spooks after the bread flying incident, and this one occurred around 6 months later. Me and my colleague were closing up for the day, and it was just me and her on this side of the castle. I think the only other people who were in the house were in the main bit of the castle, and there was only 1 or 2 of them, so it was very quiet and late in the day. The kitchen is a decent size, and just off from the kitchen is a long corridor where we keep all the dry stock. This corridor then leads out to the main exit of the castle, so we usually keep this till last to tidy up. You know, the normal things like mop the floor and then leave the exit is to not walk over freshly mopped floor. Anyway, we were putting the last few bits away for the day before we started mopping, and there was a drawer quite low down which we used to keep soft vegetables in. For example, courgettes, pumpkins and squash, etc, etc. As we were packing up, I pulled the straw out and it came away from the shelf and all the contents fell on the floor. Now, I don't know if you know what courgettes and squash look like, but they're mostly spherical, and you would expect them to roll a couple of times before stopping, which most of them did. However, about 5 of the vegetables kept on rolling. Nothing too unusual about this, you might think, but this was a long kitchen with a dip in the middle, and the veg didn't stop rolling when they hit the dip. They carried on rolling up the hill until they hit the wall on the other side of the kitchen. Neither me nor my co-worker wanted to cross the kitchen to pick up the missing vegetables. It was clear that this ghost had something against food.
Fair play. I mean, yeah, because they're those sort of vegetables, like they're spherical, but they're
not like a ball.
Yeah, they're not regular. They're irregular.
Yeah, and they're all going to be different. The pumpkins are probably the most spherical of those. But
even then, we know what pumpkins look like. They're not.
They're not a perfect circle.
And they've got a dip either end.
Yeah.
Like a flat bit and a dip.
Also, they all have like a little stalky bit of them, which is going to stop them.
And courgettes, obviously, as well, they taper at one end more than the other.
Yeah, so they kind of roll in a bit. Yeah, they kind of roll in a circle rather than like just straight. Because
the weight isn't evenly distributed.
Yeah, and also, in my head, obviously, I think we all know what she means when there was a dip. And we've all seen those old buildings where there's like a dip down to the drainage because that's how they used to drain things.
I mean, I currently live in a house of very uneven floors. So I completely understand what she means, because if I was to put a ball over in one part of my house, it would roll and then it would stop in like a dip in my floor. I mean, most of my floors are slanted without dips per se. But then in that same vein, it wouldn't roll up the other way. Yeah,
it'd be like, you know, like showers normally drop down into the dip, like if you've got a communal shower area. That's what I kind of imagined it like. Yeah, you would expect it to roll maybe into the dip. Maybe that's not unusual, but you wouldn't then expect it to roll up the other side.
Yeah, unless it's really chucked with some force, which we all know when you drop something like that, it's just not.
It's not.
There might be one that's like got a bit of force behind it for some reason.
But also, if it's a low shelf that she's pulled out.
How much force?
Yeah.
How much power can be behind that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this ghost, you say it's got something against food. Maybe it really loves food.
To be fair, if I was a ghost and I then couldn't eat food, I would get annoyed that I couldn't eat it, especially bread.
See,
and I'd throw it on the floor.
I'm not a fan of these soft vegetables, to be fair. Like, not of big... pumpkins are great aesthetically.
Yeah.
And to carve. And pumpkin seeds are great, but pumpkin to eat, meh. Courgettes, absolutely not. So I would be like, get this out, actually. Get this out. To me, they're the worst sort of vegetables.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn as you said, that.
Well, I am talking about vegetables. But yeah, so I just feel like as a ghost, I would be very angry at those. But I wouldn't be angry at bread.
No, you can't be angry at bread. But no, I wouldn't be angry at this veg.
If you're allergic to gluten.
Even like gluten-free bread nowadays is apparently not great, but better than it was.
Yeah, but you'd still be mad at bread.
Yeah, true. Well, I'd be mad that I can eat bread.
Yeah, so you might throw it on the floor.
Yeah.
And then you might, if you hate these sort of vegetables, be like, what the fuck is that? Also, they wouldn't have had some of these well, would they have had some of these vegetables back then? I suppose it depends what's native and that. Jazz will definitely know what vegetables are native to the UK. I have no idea.
That's something my mum would know as well. Maybe I'll
you
ask
can
my
definitely grow pumpkins here, but would they have been over here by that point?
But yeah.
And you can definitely grow courgettes here, but would they have been over here?
Yeah.
I don't know. Jazz will know. I have no idea.
No, maybe that's something we should look into.
To me,
Maybe
it blows my mind
episode.
that we didn't used to have certain things, even though obviously it logically makes sense. I'm like, what do you mean avocados are newly over here?
Yeah,
they're
not native. Yeah,
Mexicans,
not native. Not native to this country.
No, definitely not. Though you can grow a tree, but you cannot grow fruit. Trust me, I've got 3 trees downstairs.
Oh, really?
3 avocado trees, yeah. Grew them from pits.
I knew you were growing them, but I didn't realise they were trees now. That's exciting.
Well, they're about 1 metre tall.
Oh, wow.
No. Green-fingered Sally over here.
I've got a spider plant, and that's about it. And a cheese plant.
Yeah, you're not really a plant person, are you?
No.
I would give you an avocado plant, but it needs a lot of water.
Yeah, and I would forget. I've got plants in the garden. I had a giant sunflower.
Hey, my sunflower broke. It flowered and then got too heavy.
Yeah, ours did the same. It got ours dipped.
Flew too close to the sun.
And then kept growing, so it was an S shape by the end of it.
Oh, that's cute.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Fair play.
And now it's just in the garden so the birds can eat the seeds.
I brought ours in. I broke it off because it was bent and broken. So I broke it off and put it inside in a vase. Vase. What it is? I never know the word.
No. My mum's grown me some pumpkins as well. So for
Can
Halloween.
I have one?
Yeah, I'll see how many she's got.
Yeah. I'm more important than you.
Okay. I'll tell my mum.
I'm her daughter now.
You've been adopted into the family.
I've got lemon in my water because we bought a lemon for our fish and chips, and then I was like, well, we got to use that up so it can go in my water, get some vitamin C.
I love a bit of lemon in water. I like cucumber in water as well.
Yeah, I just thought I probably do need vitamin C because I'm always bloody coldy.
Eat more oranges.
I don't like the texture.
I love an orange.
I'll chew all the juice out and then I'll spit out the
Fair. Yeah, they do get stuck in your teeth. I like the when they go like a little bit sour.
I just don't like fruit, do I?
You are a terrible vegan.
I like vegetables. Love vegetables. Just not a huge fan of fruit. Would rather have a bowl full of broccoli, sweet corn, peas, etc., carrots, than a fruit salad. Fruit salad is fucking gross.
Oh, I love fruit.
Watermelon's alright. Like a bit of watermelon. Like strawberries, like raspberries.
I like mango. You know those packets of mango and watermelon you can get?
Watermelon.
They're good. Watermelon. We watched a compilation of all those vines the other day.
Oh, I love them.
And I forgot how funny. Like, I miss
you
like
need some milk. Get some milk. Oh, I've deleted TikTok, so.
I was going to say, like, TikTok's okay, but it still doesn't beat Vine.
No, because it was a different genre of the internet.
Yeah.
And with this, should we go on to the third and final story before Mikey comes up and kills me?
Yes, let's. Yeah, we are on a tight schedule today, so apologies for the quick episode, but are you ready?
Yes.
My third and final story from the castle involves a time when I was setting up for the day. I know that the other stories have been a bit more strange, but this is definitely the creepiest and the one that shook me the most. At the time, there were 3 of us in the castle, myself in the tea rooms, the chef in the kitchen, and someone else in the main castle. At the end of the tea rooms, there is a set of double doors, which is how the guests enter. The door on the left is only fixed to the door on the right. It's on a flimsy hinge, so this one door opens frequently with gusts of winds, etc. If this one is open, we don't typically assume paranormal activity. The door on the right, however, is bolted into the ceiling and floor, which, as it is a castle, it's made of stone, so it's pretty secure and difficult to open on the best of times. Me, not being the tallest person, often has to jump to open the bolt. Beyond that, there are 2 massive, heavy, traditional castle doors which are bolted shut, and, as you can imagine, are even harder to open. As I walk into work to start my shift, I walk through the kitchen and say hello to the chef, and walk into the tea rooms, where I can see both the doors are shut with bolts across. This is normal, as I'm the first one in and they should be shut, or whoever locked up last night hasn't done their job properly. I walk into the staff room to sort out my stuff, and a few minutes later I walk back into the tea room. As I walk back in, both the doors to the tea room are wide open. The main castle doors are still shut, so I know that no one has come in that way, and so I head into the kitchen to ask the chef if he went through to open them. To which he replied that he hadn't left the kitchen and he hadn't seen anyone else walk through. There was one more door which someone could have come through, which led to the servants' quarter, so typically no member of staff would have been there at this time of morning, and it doesn't normally get used. But I decided to go check it out anyway. This door was also locked, meaning no one could have gotten into the tea rooms without a sign of entrance. I walked back into the tea room and the door was closed and bolted shut again. I decided that this was enough for me, and I sat in the kitchen with the chef until another member of staff arrived, as I didn't want to be in the tea room alone. As I said earlier, if it had just been the left door, it wouldn't have fazed me, but how could that door unbolt itself and then bolt back up? Someone or something else must have been at play.
And that's the thing, like, once again, like, doors can open and close by themselves.
Yeah.
We definitely have a bit of a throughway in our house, just because of the way it is, but wind cannot lock a door.
No, and put a bolt across.
No, it can't be wind.
As she said, like, the one on the left, it's only on a latch.
Yeah.
It goes to the outside. Castles are quite drafty places. You could expect that one to open and close. But the one on the right, if there's a bolt in the ceiling...
exactly.
That's not going anywhere.
And that's the other thing, especially with the latch, like, it can happen because it's an old building, so things have shifted, things aren't going to fit as well as they should. But
yeah,
if that bolt is actually still in that hole and everything, how does that get moved? And it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's so compelling, stuff like that.
Also, like, I know you could argue, like, oh, well, how could you check that the bolt was actually in? But I feel like you can look at a door and be like, that bolt's in, because most doors, I mean, I'm going to show you, but they go like up and then they twist and then they sit in. Like, they don't, it's not just up and down, is it?
Yeah, like everyone knows the bolt that you're talking about. So in order to secure the latch, you put it into the hole and then you rotate it, don't you? And it sits higher up so that it can't physically fall out, because otherwise it would make no sense having one on the top of the door, because it just wouldn't work. Also, for it to open and then close and be bolted again. Yeah. For me, if it was open, maybe you could have talked yourself around to, okay, maybe it wasn't, like, I didn't look at it in that much detail before I went and put my stuff away. Maybe it hadn't been closed properly. But then for you to see the door wide open and then to go over and check it again and it be completely locked after you've seen it open without anyone coming in or out. Yeah. Explain that one, skeptics.
That's the one for me that's weirder. I
don't think Jazz has told me these stories before. I could be wrong. She could be screaming at the podcast like, I absolutely have. Why do you not listen to me? But no, I don't think she has.
Well, it's quite nice in a way, even if she has told you and you've like forgotten. At least you like they're new to you. As well.
Exactly. I'm seeing them with fresh eyes all over again,
or hearing them with fresh ears.
Exactly. Same potatoes.
Potato, tomato.
You say principles, I say potatoes. That's because you're a potato hater.
Yes.
Potato. That was very Bristolian.
Yeah, you have to, because if you're going to say hater, hater's gonna hate.
But say potato?
Potato.
No, potato.
Potato. Got emphasis the ER on the end.
Say
to make
cider.
It the hate. Cider.
You did that on purpose.
I know.
Well, thank you so much for the spooky stories today.
Well, thank you and your friends for sending them in. And the anonymous person, obviously. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anonymous. And that's just to remind everyone that we do accept anonymous stories. So if you want to send something in but you don't want to be outed as a believer, absolutely fine. We get it. It's sometimes exhausting trying to prove what you believe in over here. And, you know, people do laugh at me all the time when I say I do ghosts and true crime podcasts. They're like, ghosts? I'm like, yep.
Yeah, even my mum said it to me. She was like, I can listen to the ghost stories because they're not real. Like the true crime bit's real and it's scarier. And I was like, Mum, these are people have sent us these because this has happened to them. They're just as real as the crime.
And she's like, no, fiction.
Ghosts aren't real. People have made that up. And I'm like, well, even if you don't believe in ghosts, people
have had these experiences.
Yes, this has happened to someone.
This is real to them.
Whether it's real or not, like it's
happened
to them.
Well, thank you so much to everyone who sent a story in. We are still running a bit low on stories. It's no longer Jess's problem. But if you would like to help me out whilst I am going to be flying a bit solo, however, I might have some surprise co-pilots along for the journey, along for the ride. Please send us a ghost story. You can send it to truecrimecovenpod@gmail.com, as we say at the end of the episode, but I'm just putting it out
Just
there.
reiterating it.
Just reiterating, please send us some ghost stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, this might be Jess's last episode. Probably will be.
Yeah,
Jess's
for a while,
last
probably.
episode. But we have got some exciting guests coming up. I'm excited anyway. I don't know about anyone else. But I'm very excited
too. I'm excited to listen to something that's not just my own voice.
Aren't we?
So, yeah. Give everyone a bit of a break from the Bristolian.
So yeah, keep your ears peeled for all the guests that are going to be coming up. Keep Jess in your thoughts. We hope you have an amazing birth. We hope she just flies right out of you.
Yeah, fingers
you feel
crossed.
no pain. We hope that you take to motherhood like a duck to water, and that she is just the perfect baby. Knowing you're like she will be, because
I'm perfect.
Anyway, so we wish you all of that.
Well, me and Aidan were both sleepers as babies, according to our mum. So I'm hoping she is a sleeper.
And everything else in your life has been quite like as it should be.
Yeah, I am the definition of bog standard.
No, that's not what I mean. It's just you're like a very organised, like met Aidan when you were like 15?
Yeah.
Met Aidan at 15, you then got married to him, you then bought a house, and you got married to him, now you're having a baby together, and then there's me.
We are very by the book, traditional.
You're very traditional. I am very chaotic. I might be in a long-term relationship now, but it was not always the case.
You get there when you get there, and it's not for everyone.
No, but
each to their own.
It's just you're like this organised, like traditional being.
Say I'm organised.
You're this like unflappable traditional being, and there's me just like, I don't know what's happening in this dumpster fire, but I'm here.
To be fair, people do describe me and Aidan as one of the most laid back couples.
Oh yeah.
Whenever I go and see the midwife, they're like, "Oh, you're one of our most laid back mothers." Like at the
You're
start,
pretty unflappable, I feel.
Yeah, at the start of my pregnancy, they weren't worried. Like, they get worried if your blood pressure increases. And they were like, your blood pressure's gone from 120 systolic to like 108. Are you getting less stress with pregnancy? And I was like, maybe. It's gone up to 130 now. So, we're back. We're on the upwards trend. But
no, yeah, you are pretty unflappable. So I'm sure everything's going to be perfect for you. Of course, we will still keep in contact.
Oh, yeah.
If you would... please join me in just wishing Jess all the best, and hopefully you can all be looking forward to our exciting new guests, and Jess will be back with us when she feels like she can do it. There's absolutely no pressure, Jess.
Yeah, to be fair, if it keeps going the way it's going, I'm getting pretty bored of being off work. So
you're gonna have a child, Jess. This isn't just
but they don't do much for the first year, do they?
Mother of the year, everyone. And with that, I guess we've got nothing left to say other than stay spooky. Hey guys, if you have a ghost story or a case suggestion, please email us truecrimecovenpod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on Twitter @truecrimecoven or on Instagram and Facebook, where we are @truecrimecovenpod.
Also, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could rate us wherever you're listening to this right now, be it Spotify, Apple Music, or if you're on YouTube, give us a little thumbs up, click that bell, get notifications every time we post.
Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from.
Make these two witches smile. Thanks, witches!